Guys, Chris Rock YT back here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. This is going to be a story time video. It's going to be sort of a long one, so I decided to title the video of today's selection When I Was Single. Now, it's going to be a real long video of me talking of how life for me was different when I wasn't, happily married to the love of my life that I am right now. My wife are going to be about 3 years into our relationship now in March. Happy 3 years. Whenever you guys can find the love of your life, it is such a wonderful feeling because there's so many things that are lifted from your, from your life and from your self-conscious when you find that right person who makes you happy and you're happy to be alive every day. As y'all guys know, back in my old streams, I would talk about a lot of topics, and I'm going to be dwelling into a lot of things that have to relate to the channel and what I'm doing now versus what I used to do before, right? The difference in what I'm doing with this channel now is, as y'all know from the last upload that I did of talking about the nights that I thought I was going to go to jail and I was going to get arrested, I unlisted all of my other IRL videos except for the channel update one where there's proper editing and all that, right? And I'm mainly gonna be putting just gaming commentary, gaming story times, or gaming rants, or just regular video games that I do to completion, or just random, gameplay footage of when I get, when I'm still waiting for them to drop the new DLC for Dragon Ball Fighters, because that's when I know it's going to be really popping once Goku Daima gets put into the game. I know it's going to be real different. But getting back to the topic of this story, when I was single, as I said, it's going to be a real long video. Let's just dive right into this. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, comment down below. Now let's get right into this. Okay. So when I was single, life was a lot different back then, as y'all would know from my older streams, that I used to drink a lot. I would also smoke on the side, and I would do a lot of crazy shit back then. This is going to be diving into older stuff of my past and my lifestyle compared to my lifestyle now. As you guys know, back in the old days, I would drink fucking every day. I would basically drink every day because I was, in my young teens to early adult years. And so that was our fun. Our fun was to go to a bar, get fucked up, dance with some girls, go out every night and do the same thing over and over again. Now, I lived that life for 5 straight years. It was non-stop partying, working, and just doing everything that young adults do. So my boy Felix and I, we would just walk around, we would get out of our jobs, we'd have a regular 9 to 5, and we would hit the bars every night. That was our routine. We would do this every single day. We did it every single day, 5 years in a row, right? That was our life when we were, all single, or getting new girlfriends that we really didn't see it going too long or anything, no real commitment whatsoever. And we would, we would get high too. And I could tell you guys about a couple of stories of when I would get high, but my weed stories are really kind of boring. I don't really have anything crazy to talk about when it comes to that. But when I was single, life, as I say it now, was a little bit more simple, to put it like that. There was a lot of simple stuff back then, and it was just so much more easier to deal with stuff. And as you grow older, as you start to pay bills and rent and having a car and having responsibilities, life comes knocking at the door. Hi, no more fun. You gotta be an adult now, and you gotta do adult things and get into the rhythm of doing other crazy shit. And so, it was a lot easier back then. So all of my boys, we would all have jobs, and we would go partying every night. Like, we would see each other basically every night. So what I started doing as a grown adult of 27 years, I would start telling the youth that I would meet, like, at my jobs, or, because I've met younger guys at like my older jobs that I used to have, and I would tell them, enjoy your youth while you have it, because once you grow up and I tell them, enjoy your partying at a young age and do everything you want to do at a young age, and then, like, commit to being an adult. Because there's a lot of people that they start doing what regular teens do, of like, oh, let's go party, bro, let's go do this and be out till 5 in the morning, let's go do all this crazy shit. And they would do it as an adult, and then you would get to work hungover, which I was one of those people that I would get to work hungover, and it would suck, but I would drink like a champion, because they'd be like, come on, man, let's go drinking, let's go do this, bro, let's go get fucking shit faced. And I'm like, bet. And then I would regret it the next morning, and I would always be like, so as y'all heard from the other video that I posted of jobs I've worked, back when I was in Costco CDS, yes, I'm bringing this job back again. Back when I was there, they would hold fucking pre-shift meetings every morning. It was a meeting every day, man, which is just stressful. And something I really enjoyed from all the other jobs that didn't have that sort of fucking structure, especially at call centers, because there's no such thing as, like, meetings in a call center unless they're, like, extremely important. So I would go out there. I remember there was one night where I went out with my boy Emma, and he's like, bro, let's go, like, we haven't seen Felix in forever, we should go. And I'm like, dude, bet. So we would go, and this was back when I didn't have a car, so I would always have to carpool with Emma or someone else. Once I got my own car, things got a little bit different, to the point where my wife and I were never home. We were always up, out and about, doing other crazy shit in the streets and just having a good time. But getting back to that, so I go and I attend the stupid fucking pre-shift meeting of every day, and my boss at that time, she would tell me, like, oh, you doing okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm just kind of hungover from last night, but I'll live. And something I will admit again, that I admitted in one of my old videos when I spoke about this job, but I never said which job it was. When I worked at Costco, I would show up to work half fucked up. I never did drugs while I was at this job. I never got to my job high. But I did show up to work half drunk. Like, I would show up with liquor already in my system, because at that point I just didn't care. I didn't care for the job much. And I'll give you a fun tip, ladies and gentlemen, to young kids hearing me and to young teens. If you're gonna do this, which I don't recommend you do, I'm not employing anybody to do this, but if you're gonna drink at your job and you want to mask it, you don't want people to smell it on you, don't do what everybody else tells you of, like, oh, make sure to take some mints, or like, they actually sell the, like, Colgate Fresh Breath bullshit, whatever. Yeah, don't do that. You don't have to do that. On the contrary, buy yourself regular Smirnoff, like the Smirnoff beers. Those actually don't have a smell whatsoever. So just drink the original ones and you're good to go, because that doesn't smell like liquor. It doesn't have a smell whatsoever. So they'll never know unless you start acting up. Now, I repeat myself, I am not endorsing you to drink on your job. I'm just telling you my past of back when I didn't care much. I didn't care for this job whatsoever. And I started drinking on the job. And I was such a douchebag and so honest that I told my supervisors, I was like, yeah, I'm fine, but I've been drinking. And a lot of times that I started drinking at that job before I went in is because I was either two things. Either I just didn't care. I knew who was going to work with me that day, and I knew what kind of thing I was going to do that day, and it was going to be shitty. And second, I was mostly sick. So I would drink to alleviate the sickness because liquor is the best medicine for you to cure your sickness. Fuck everything else. You don't need medicine. All you need to do is grab a couple of beers, grab some whiskey, and you good to go. So that's what I would do. Now, continuing of when I was single. When I was single, I would drink a lot. Why? Because one, I was single. I had no responsibilities. I had no, girl nagging at me to stop me from drinking. And, that's what I would do on a daily basis. I come from a veteran alcoholic family. And, I was following in the footsteps of my father. And I don't hate my dad for that. I love my dad. He's my hero. I love my fucking dad. And he knows this. But I would take up after him and I would just start drinking him like a madman. I never got to his level and I would always take it down because having a hangover and puking is not fun. And if you guys remember, I actually have a video on my channel of one of my streams where I left the room. And you can actually hear it in the video itself that I leave the room and I take a shot of whiskey outside of the room and I come back so awake. And I was like, I didn't even remember doing this. And it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I just remember in that video, like in the video I say, I'm like, holy shit, I'm wide awake now. And that was the type of crazy shit I would get onto when I was still single. As you guys know, as I said in the other video, I am completely sober now. I do not drink liquor. I do not take drugs. As you guys know, I still vape. That is not going to go away. I don't party anymore. I'm very much loyal to the love of my life and to my current wife. So, I'm just, as I tell her, I'm a boring individual. I am a boring old man who doesn't do anything. My life consists of having a job, working, taking care of the car, mostly taking care of everything that she can't take care of because most shit that she has to take care of falls on me. And just being a man, just doing what I gotta do to stay afloat and vaping. That's mostly it. Gaming, making the YouTube videos. Like I said, I am doing these videos not only to give myself a hobby and to give myself something to do, but to alleviate the stress of my life. Because I feel at peace when I'm talking into the mic and like I'm just putting my words out there. And it is funny because like my wife hears me and she makes me nervous because she sees me geeking out and then I can't control myself and I get nervous around her and then it takes away my concentration. But apart from that, it's all chill. And getting back to the story there, I've been sidetracking a lot, but getting back. So I used to drink very heavily because as a teen, what else do you know? Like, there's a lot of teens like myself that I got a job very late. Like, my first official job was when I was like, I don't know, 20. Which you would say, damn, Chris, like, that's a really late age to start working officially. Yes, my life was different because I didn't get pushed into, like, the workforce till a very late age. Usually most kids start around 16, 17. I didn't have to worry about that. I got pushed into the workforce like in my late 20s. And so I didn't really have any worries. So I would always have money due to my parents. And I would just go drink my ass off. And there was times where, like, when you're single and you're young, you get back home at the time you please. So there would be nights where I would get home in the morning. So I would get home the very next day. Like, sometimes at 6 in the morning, sometimes at 8 in the morning. And my mom would be very upset. And she'd be like, where were you? And I was like, I was out partying. And, I did a lot of fun stuff growing up. I got to live the life of a party guy of, like, going out and, like, meeting people and doing all these crazy shits. and going to the beach at night and going to clubs and just doing all that fun stuff. You know, because what else are you going to do when you're single and you have a fuck ton of friends with cars and money? You might as well go enjoy yourself. It's why I say enjoy your youth while you have it. Because if you don't, you're just going to want to do everything you didn't do in your youth as a grown adult. And there's issues with that because if you're riding with your boys, then you won't get in trouble because you're not the one driving. So you'll be pretty much in the clear. Now, if you're the one driving and you decide to drink, which I would never tell people to do that, just don't do that because you can end up in jail for, DUI, for drunk driving or being under the influence of some other drug that you might have partaken in that night or day. And once you're a grown adult, the police, they don't fuck around. They don't want to play with that. If you're like a young teen, they give you a lot of chances. They gave us a lot of chances when we were growing up because we would just do stupid shit. Like, I'm telling you guys, when you're young, you do a lot of dumb shit. Like, we would do so much crazy shit back then when we were single and young that you look at our lives now and we're like, holy shit, the fact we never got caught or got persecuted was just insane. Like, dude, I'm telling you, we did such crazy shit. We raced with our cars. We drank and drove all the time. We would get in the pickup truck of like one of our old friends of Isaac's and like hide in there and drive around, which was illegal as well. We would do all this crazy shit. And I'm there like, bro, we had such a wild life growing up. And I'm glad that we've settled down, we've calmed down now, and it's different. It's not, the life we used to have, and it's nice. Once you grow up, you calm down, you relax a bit, and you reminisce in those old days of like, you don't quite miss the old days, but you miss the fun times of like being young, having that energy. Because I'll tell you one thing, once you grow up to like, I don't know, give or take 24, 25, 26, the energy reserves you used to have back when you were 18 and 19, you're not gonna have them, trust me. Like, they're gonna suck because once you grow to like 24 and 25, you've reached like adulthood and your body's gonna be tired by like 9. Your friends are like, yo, we going out till 2? No. We going out till 11 and we coming home to sleep. And I don't have the energy reserves anymore to stay up till like 2, 3 in the morning because I'm just old. I'm 27, as my wife calls it. I'm vintage, or as others call it, I'm a fucking fossil. Because my friends are mean that way. And, I get tired very, very early. Like, I am not full of energy like I used to be back in the old days. And my friends, like, want to stay out late. And I'm there like, can we go home? I don't want to be out in the street till late. I just don't. I just want to get out. I want to go home and sleep. And, we don't always blame, like, everybody in the group. Because if you work a 9 to 5 or you work a job where, like, you have to like clock in like at 5 in the morning and you don't get out to like 3 or 5 in the afternoon, I understand you being tired because most of us don't take a nap, unless it's really necessary to then go hang out and like be around the street and around the boys. So there's a huge difference in you like having the energy that you had as a young teen compared to you as an adult now. And you'll notice a difference. You're like, damn, back then I could dance my ass off, I could drink, and it is true. Once you get older, you're gonna realize that your body doesn't handle liquor very well as it did back in the younger days. And you're gonna be like, damn, bro, back then I could take a whole box of Corona and keep it pushing and hang out to the end of the party. And now, as a grown old ass motherfucker, you'll take a 6-pack and you'll be like, I'm good for the whole night. Especially if you take like at least 2-3 shots, you're perfect. You're like, I don't need to drink the rest of the night. I'm good. Now, as you guys know, I have been sober for more than a year now. I do not drink liquor anymore, so I do not partake in that. I simply buy the non-alcoholic versions of the beers that my friends drink because I still like the taste and I still like to, be around and celebrate with my boys. And back then, when I was single and making quote unquote decent money, I would buy. I was never the type of guy when I was single um to buy rounds for people because that was lame as shit and cringe. Instead, I would buy a fuck ton of stuff for my friends and whenever we threw parties. And we would always buy way too much, especially since my dad always pitched in for all the birthday parties and all the parties we threw, and he would just give us free beer and free liquor. So we always had spares. I remember there was one day, this was back when I was still single, there was one day where the boys and I went to the beach. We bought $200 worth of liquor alone. And you're asking yourself, Chris, did you guys end up drinking it? We devoured that shit. We ended every single bottle that was in that car before we headed home. That's how much of an alcoholics we were. And we were all single. We had no responsibilities. We had no girl to go home to. So why not? We said, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's fucking drink till we drop. And we would always get back home and be like, yo, so we're going to go drinking afterwards? And like, fuck yeah. And I will tell you, there was an embarrassing night. One night that, this wasn't when I was single. I did have a girlfriend for this time, but at least I think. I honestly don't remember. I think I was either single or I was dating someone. I honestly don't remember. But there is one embarrassing moment where I was out with Felix and Isaac, and I meet up with them, and I had never heard of the liqueur 151. So, that has to do a lot with the story. To those alcoholic veterans, 151, you know exactly what it is. To those of you who don't know, 151 is, how do I put this? Legend has it that 151 liqueur, if you don't have gas in your car, you can use that as fuel. Should I say anything else? So let's get down to the story, shall we? 151 is a strong ass liqueur. It is so fucking powerful that it has been deemed illegal to sell as a liqueur now, of how powerful it is. Now, I will say, if you're ever feeling sick or you have the sniffles or you can't breathe, just take a shot of anything, man. Take a shot of hot blazing stuff and you'll be good as new. You'll be able to breathe immediately. You have two options. You can either take a fuck ton of wasabi, or B, you can take a shot of really, really strong whiskey. So those are your two options. Now, getting back to this embarrassing story. So I don't have the video anymore, but I think Felix still does. I gotta ask him. When I met up with Felix and Isaac in this story, in this night, Isaac asked me, "Hey, can you drink?" And I said, "Yeah, I could drink." He said, "No. Can you drink?" I started to get worried, so I got really fucking scared, and I said, yeah, I could drink, man." He said, "All right, bet." So we go to this bar, and Isaac asked the bar guy, and I can't hear what he's asking him. And the bar guy, the bartender, brings out a nice wooden plaque, and it's 3 shot glasses. Now, by my logic, right? By my logic, the lightest color is the weakest color. Oh, how wrong was I? So on this fucking wooden plank, there's 3 different shots. There's Fireball, there's Black Label, and there's 151. Ladies and gents, which one do you think I ended up going with? So I tell myself I might as well grab the lighter one because the lightest one is the weakest one. And I can see that when I went to go grab the one in the middle, I saw Isaac's face like it's about to go down. And I got really scared. So I take it and I'm like, damn, bro, what the fuck was that? And he tells me that was 151. I said, what? What is that? He's like, oh, it's to the core. I think you'll like it. I was like, dude, I can feel my insides burning up. This isn't normal. And then he tricks me, and then I ended up taking a second shot. Now, for the life of me, hand on the Bible, I do not remember the rest of the story. I blocked out. I erased the whole night. All I know is from what they told me. There is a video of me walking around the plaza where we live, of me flapping my arms trying to fly away. And I am just walking around there like a fucking retard. And Isaac in the video shouts out, he says, you see, ladies and gents, this is why you don't drink, especially 151 the core. And I'm there like, dude, I didn't remember this. And I remember like years later, you know, Isaac and Felix showing me the video. I'd be like, bro, that's crazy. The thing was, what happened was, is I can hold my liquor, right? But this specific night, I hadn't eaten all day. I had eaten breakfast, and then I didn't eat the entire day. So that's why it hit me so hard, because there was no way of, you know, like, to counteract this shot of pure demon liquid. And that was just one of the stories. Like I said, I was single back then, so I did a lot of dumb shit. And, you know, when you're by yourself, there's going to be a lot that you're going to look into. You're going to try to enjoy your teens and your youth. And you're like, oh, I'm by myself. I have no rules. I can be whoever the fuck I want to be with. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. And then you realize how really alone you are, and it sucks. And you stay up till 5, 6, 7 in the morning gaming, doing whatever, because again, no responsibilities, no girlfriend to like tell you, hey, you should probably get some sleep. I didn't have that. I didn't have that issue back then, and I didn't have a girl to tell me, hey, you should probably take care of your body and, like, you know, not stay up this late, especially gaming, because it's bad for your health. You should try to get a good night's sleep. And, you know, it is nice to now have that person who cares for you and to be in a loving relationship. Because, like I said, I was single a lot. And the reason I was single a lot is because I cared way too much. Like, I gave way too much love back when I was young. And that would always come and bite me in the ass. So I got tired of everything. And I just got tired of, like, you know, being the punching bag of everything. And when I decided that I was okay being by myself, I immediately found the love of my life, which was really, really funny. So to go into this story, right, when I was single still. So the way it happened is this. I'm gonna tell the story of how I believe it happened. Not how I met my wife, but how I accepted, and afterwards, you know, I was granted a blessing by God to meet the wonderful woman that I live with and that I love to this day forever. So what happened was, this is going to sound really cringe, but I was in my house, and I had recently gotten back into watching Inuyasha, which I have to finish the anime, by the way. Sidetrack real quick. Don't worry, guys. The Legend of Dragoon videos will be coming, so you don't have to worry about that. They will be uploaded. Just give me time. Give me time. So I had accepted, and I told myself, you know what? I'm gonna keep working. I'm just gonna make money, and I'm okay. I'm okay being by myself. And literally, not even a month later, of me accepting the fact that I was gonna be by myself, because before this, I was dealing with a stalker chick who threatened to come to my house, and I told her, if you show up to my house, I'm gonna call the police on you because you're trespassing, and I will have you removed. So right after that little issue and that situation, I met the love of my life, and I had accepted it. I was like, you know what? I'm probably gonna be alone for the rest of my life because I can't. Every time I care and I try to every time I dedicate myself to somebody, it always goes bad. And I give like 100% of my love to that person. And like, I've had issues in the past when I was single that I would be with a girl, things would go great, and then she would do things that I really wasn't okay with. And she would tell me, oh, you're being toxic and controlling. And I was like, no, there's a difference between being toxic and controlling and setting boundaries for your relationship. Trust me, boys and girls, you're going to learn that at a very, very late age if you don't know it at a young age. Because there's going to be a lot of times where, like, there was one relationship that I had, sidetracking again, that she just did everything wrong. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done trying to take care of this relationship by myself. And I'm just over it. I'm over it. I'm over everything. I just don't care at this point. And I left. I left. I walked right out of that fuck relationship. I said, fuck it. I don't really care anymore. It's not worth caring. It's not worth my time. And I just left. I just got the hell out of that relationship. Getting back, so as I'm watching Inuyasha and I'm envying freaking Inuyasha, his relationship with Kagome, I was like, damn, it'd be so nice, to have a girl who actually gives a shit like Kagome like that. And like I said, not even a month later, I met the love of my life, and I was like, cool. This is something new. The funniest thing about that is, like, that same year, it was 2023, right? That same year on 2023, I had told Emma, I'm like, dude, something crazy is going to happen either this year or at the end of the year. And two crazy things did happen. So Emma became a father, and I got a loving wife. And I was like, dude, that's crazy. He's like, you jinxed us. I was like, that's not a jinx, man. I had the feeling that something would happen, and it did. And so, it was crazy to think that, I thought about it in my head and it would come true like that. And it's just scary sometimes because I'm there like, dude, like, I can't see myself not being without her now. And it's just, if I think about it, I just get depressed. Because I have been with her for 3 years now, and I don't see myself ever being without her. And I've told my wife this, and she knows this. Like, if there was a situation where I would be put into a situation where I would cheat on her, I'd rather kill myself. And she knows this. Like, I told her, like, if you leave me, I'm done. I'm dying. Like, bye-bye life. And my parents hate hearing this, especially my mom. But, is that I love my wife so much that I don't see a world without her. And she understands that, and she also gets really sad about it. But I can't. It would never happen because we love each other way too much, and like we've been through way too many things together to just like end it out of nowhere. But I have spoken to her about it. I was like, oh, if you were to leave me, like, I'd probably be alive for like a month, and then boom, bye bye. But getting back to like, back when I was still single. But I do love my wife. She's the love of my life. I will love her forever, and she knows that. you know, we would do a lot of things. Like once Emma and I like got committed and we started dating like officially, to our girls, not to each other. uh, we just became very committed, and it wasn't hard for me to let go of my life before, because even when I got to be with my wife, you know, I was already like drinking less, and I had officially, like, you know, last year. Uh, Actually, no, it's last year. No, it was 2024. On 2024, November 24th, that was when I stopped drinking, and like it's been a year plus since I don't drink liquor anymore. I'm completely sober, and I think I told this story before. If I didn't, I'll explain the reason that I no longer drink. It's not anything like traumatic. It's more of like I realized I didn't need it, and I just stopped, just cold turkey. Just what happened was this, right? So apart from other things that my wife knows, I did sort of stop drinking a little bit because she would nag at me a lot. And so I stopped apart from that as well, because every time I started drinking very heavily, she would find it an issue. And I was just kind of tired of getting nagged at constantly for my drinking. And so those were one of the reasons. The main reason was that I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was wasting so much money on liquor for no reason to quote unquote hide my sadness and my depression. And I just decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to like have to, you know, like depend on liquor to cure my sadness and be happy for like a couple of hours. And so I gave it up. What I did was this: like I took a beer, a couple of beers, and a couple of cocktails on my birthday, and straight up they tasted like shit. And I was like, you know what, I don't like the taste of liquor anymore. And since that day, I gave it up completely. And you'd be like, yeah, but you're still drinking the non-alcoholic ones. That's the whole point. They're non-alcoholic. I simply drink them for the taste. That's it. And you know, back when I was single and younger, you know, I would drink them every day. I'd be like, hell yeah, what we doing tonight, bros? And I would, as you guys know, I would get on stream half drunk, sometimes completely fucking drunk, and just ramble and rant about everything. And to give a little bit of context as well of why my channel has become so boring and why I'm just focusing on gaming alone, is because I do not want to get into drama. Yes, I'm doing story times that have to do with like drama in my life, but I do not want to be put into drama with politics or drama with YouTube. I do not want to be that sort of YouTuber. I want to stay away from that. So no matter how bad the YouTube platform gets or how corrupt the system of politics is, I just don't want to be involved. So that's why I don't talk about it. My channel revolves around myself and gaming and talking about my life, my friends, you know, my wife and my family. That's it. That's all I want my channel to be. Just gaming related, and that's mostly it. I will not bring anything else into this channel. Therefore, that's why I unlisted every other video that I had IRL, because it wasn't gaming. So from now on, this channel will have story times like this, but it's always going to be gaming related, quote unquote, aka with gaming in the background. Like, you know, so you guys can see the gaming while I'm talking shit. But apart from that, you know, I am going to evolve into a gaming channel with commentary. That's what I want the channel to be. When I do get all the stuff necessary to like make a podcast and all the other videos I want to make in the future, then I will make it about that. But from now on, till I get all the other equipment that I need to make better professional videos, I will not be making IRL videos again. This channel will solely be gaming alone. That is it. Not gaming news. Maybe gaming news. If there's certain games that come out with like the passes and like the catalogs, I'll maybe talk about them. You know, maybe I'll get on the channel and say like, oh guys, I heard that, you know, they're making a new remake of certain games. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about like my opinion on this certain game, or you know what they're doing of like gaming nominees or like gaming awards, things like that, just gaming related. But other than that, it's gonna be gaming commentary. That's what I want the video to. That's what I want the channel to be. That is it. I don't want the channel to be anything else for now. I'm trying to focus on making the channel what I want it to be and to be proud of the channel that I have. That is why I've unlisted everything else, and I am mostly focusing on what I want to upload and what I want to be seen on this channel. If you guys like it, cool. If you don't understand it and you don't respect it, cool as well. I cannot please everybody. I've learned that in my life. You just can't please every single person. And it is what it is. You know, that's the life we live in. We're not always going to agree. We're not always going to be together on every single decision we make in life. There will always be different opinions, and that's perfectly fine. It is what it is, you know. But you can't dwell on other people's opinions, because you're just simply going to be angry and miserable in life. I've learned that plenty of times. But yeah, I just wanted to come out and give you guys, you know, another video on the channel, and just, you know, talk to you guys for a bit. And this was sort of a long one, and you know, just wanted to bring everything out there. As you guys know, I'm using this YouTube channel to mostly get my thoughts out and just give you guys content to look at, and that's just mostly it. Hope you guys enjoyed this little rant. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. This has been Chris Rick YT, signing out for now. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you in the very next video. It will either be another story time or rant or commentary video, or it will most likely be Legend of Dragoon Dragonic Legacy Episode 4. But we'll see which one comes first. Love you guys. Thank you for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the very next video. Chris Rick YT, signing out for now. Peace out, guys.